to Yoga. I'm Susan Rubenstein. Today we're going to use yoga in a wonderful way. We're going to find space through yoga. So what does that mean exactly? Well, it means that we're going to create space in our body, space in our joints, such as our wrists and our shoulders and our hips, knees, ankles. But it also means finding space within our thoughts. When our mind becomes extremely overwhelmed with just life, memory, thinking about what our schedule is, what we have to do, where we have to be, we don't allow enough time between those thoughts. So what we can do today is just learn some simple tools that can help us to allow the present to be available to us and to enjoy it. To take those opportunities when our mind is at its busiest and use our breath to space out those thoughts. Sometimes we need just a personal timeout, a timeout to find space for ourselves. That could mean being by ourselves, going for a walk, spending some time with yoga. So each and every day, we need to carve out time to have space. So today I'm going to help you with that by working on our yoga practice. And remember that word, practice. That's what it is. It's not about achieving the perfect shape or pose or look. It's about finding movement, feeling good from within, and bringing together body, mind, and breath. And the word yoga represents the word union, and that's what we try to cultivate in our yoga practice. So with that, before we get started, it's just really important to check in with your doctor if you are just starting this yoga program or any exercise program, to rule out any potential health risks, or just to kind of go over the guidelines of what is good for you when it comes to your exercise program, your self-care. I brought along today a blanket which I'm sitting on. This helps when our hips get really tight. They get tight from the way we sit. A lot of times we're in jobs, we're at a desk all day, or maybe we're on the road a lot and we're on planes and we are just not getting the movement that we need, so our hips get really tight. So to sit like this can be uncomfortable. I've also brought along a strap. This is sometimes useful when we can't maybe make the extension to our feet. We need a little support. I've also brought along a block that you will find useful on some of the poses that we do, just to give you a little bit more space between your joints, say if we're twisting and moving. And I've also brought along just a nice short piece of a mat. So I like to take my old yoga mats and cut them up and use them for little extra tools. I've used these in gardening just to put my knee down so my knee doesn't get sore. Because remember, your kneecap just has a sheet of skin over it. So sometimes our knees can hurt. This is helpful. You can slide it underneath your mat, putting it right underneath your knees. Sometimes if your wrists hurt, this is another great alternative. So these are just some things I brought along. Of course, my yoga mat and some water. So with all that being said, we're just going to put that aside for now, let it be in the past, and enjoy being in the moment. So let's begin. I invite you to cross your ankles or sit in a comfortable seat, maybe legs extended. We're going to close our eyes. Let our hands rest against our legs, palms open. Let's invite the thumb and the index finger to come together. So this is wonderful, to bring the thumb and index finger together to promote our healthy digestive tract. It's good for the large intestines. It's also good for lung health. So sometimes certain pressure points can create a wonderful sense of health and wellness within our own bodies. And now I just want you to observe your breathing. Don't try to change it. Just watch it. Watch it and then listen to it. How does your breath sound? We all have a unique, original sound that is our own. And when you breathe in as fully as you can, allowing the belly to feel the fullness of the breath. And then when we breathe out, we let go. We feel a sense of calm, a centering. We might even notice that our mind begins to slow down, so we're less distracted by our thoughts, an opportunity to be present. So I encourage you to stay with your breath, even as we begin to move our body. So as we follow the breath, I'd like you to now take your legs out in front of you. And we're beginning to move now to create space in our ankles by just circling the feet around. So now we're concentrating on ankles. Think about bringing the breath to your ankles. And then moving the other direction. So movement in the joints helps to get that synovial fluid going, so we don't feel so stiff, achy, especially in the winter. And then as we relax the feet, we're just going to inhale and slide the right foot up towards us. Foot can slide across the floor or lift up using a little abdominal energy. And then we set the leg down. Inhaling again, other side. And then breathing out. So just begin to move from side to side. Waking up energy in the legs, in the hips. This is also good to strengthen our hip flexors. And when we sit up tall, we're working our posture. So we're strengthening our abdominals and our back. So there are many, many wonderful benefits to having a yoga practice, to staying healthy. Let's do one more. And then now as the legs rest, I want you to extend your arms. Let's just start by moving the wrists. So you can go in any direction you want. There's no right or wrong. And then move your fingers. So bring some life to your hands. And then let's go in the other direction. And then stretch out those hands, pressing out through the palms. And then making a fist and dropping that fist down and now circling. And then maybe going in the other direction or going one direction, one in the other. This helps to challenge our motor skills. It's fun to kind of play around with different combinations, having a sense of humor with ourselves at times as well. And then as we shake that out, we're going to put our fingers right on top of the shoulders and then move those elbows around. Oh, that feels good to loosen up the shoulders, especially if you hold tension in your shoulders or in your neck, which many of us do. This feels really good. You can do this anywhere. When you're seated at your desk or just pausing for a few moments to notice how you're feeling in the middle of your day. And then release. Now, just going to take my arms out, inhaling, and then I'm gently just going to start to add a twist. So inhaling, arms up, moving side to side. So keeping the spine healthy, flexible, and supple. That's what happens when we start to move the spine through our twists. Different ranges of motion. Good. And then I'm going to take my arms all the way up. Stretch down. Let's do that again. Inhale, creating space and length. Exhaling. One more time, coming up. And exhaling. So sometimes we go from active to more of a passive, quiet place. So now we're going to lengthen out, finding our feet, elbows turning to the side walls, relaxing the head. So a variation to this forward fold would be using the strap. So if you need a little extra support, you can even use a tie. Just place it around the bottom of your foot. Soften your collarbones, let your elbows turn out. And just let the eyes relax. Sometimes it's nice to close the eyes so we become more aware of sensation. And we're able to cool the mind down. And then as we come up, we're going to take a deep breath in. Now, as we bend our knee, I'm going to ask you just to hug that knee, bringing it in. If you want to go a little deeper into a twist, which is great for your belly and your back, we take the elbow to the outside of the knee. Twisting is also wonderful to release toxins in the body. So if you're enjoying this and want to try another variation, reach down, a little bit of balance as we extend the foot out. And then as we reach behind us, we sit up nice and tall. We can look out, we can look behind, and breathe. Now we come around to center. As this knee bends, we're going to let the knee float out to the side. So if your hip's really tight, you can always take your yoga block, just kind of slide it underneath the back of the leg or the side of the leg, and then reach up, lengthening forward over the extended leg. Maybe we need our strap. Just listening to your body. And then once the breath starts to open heart space, we're going to inhale. I'm going to ask you just to keep your hand against the leg and then open the chest. Now I like to add some movement to this. So as we inhale, we're going to reach the hand around, touching the big toe. Exhale as we open the chest, rolling out, we extend the arm back. So there's so many wonderful ways to explore a yoga practice. Through movement, through stillness. And there's so many wonderful ways to find space within the spaces of the body. And then we're just going to come up and then maybe relax the arm. You might want to use the strap or hook around your big toe, letting your arm extend overhead. We can always take this arm and float it behind our back as the head relaxes down. And we just breathe. And then sweeping up, inhaling, coming back to center. Lift and exhale. Shake the legs out. Just get some of that energy flushing through the space. Good. So, shoulders relaxed, belly drawn in. We're going to take a deep breath in as we invite the knee to come in. And then exhale, coming around into our twist, either just holding the knee or connecting to the outside. Trying to sit up nice and tall so it's that feeling of lengthening from tailbone right up to the crown of the head. Breathing into our belly. And then again, adding just a variation to that. Extending the leg out. Reaching behind, looking behind or looking out. And then wandering back to center as we bend the knee, traveling it out to the side. Inhale to open heart space. Remember, if you need the block, to slide it underneath your thigh. And then release. Just take this opportunity to connect with yourself. It's nice to have moments in our day where we just pause. And then as we start to lift the heart, we're going to begin to connect. So hand can stay to the leg, open up the arm and reach back. And then inhale, carrying your hand forward, exhaling to open. Again, inhaling. Exhaling. So letting your breath guide you. It's really important to have that nice steady flow. We notice how when the breath becomes slower, we feel a sense of calm. We feel less rushed, less agitated. And then we can float over. And then as we start to release the hand back and we come up, just take the feet together for a moment. Butterfly, just moving the knees up and down. Bringing some space into our hip joints, our hip sockets. All right, so now we're going to journey around. We're going to come onto our knees. So if you feel like that having that extra cushioning underneath your knees is a good idea, you can use your blanket or an extra mat or something that works. So we're going to start with what I like to do in more of a seated practice is just bring about a very soft, what we call a sun salutation. This is a kneeling one. So we're just going to settle the knees down right underneath those hip bones. Shoulders are back, so we have a nice strong core. We're going to sweep the palms out. So as we sweep the palms out, notice we create more joint space through our shoulders. Then as we start to slowly fold forward, press back behind you. We're just going to tip the crown of the head to the ground and extend the fingers back behind. And then inhale, scoop up again. So you feel the muscles, the energy of your abdominals working here. We want to keep that tone, the awareness. Inhaling to come up. Good. Sweeping those palms out, we come up. Now this time, I'm going to have you bring your hands forward into what we call extended child's pose. Hands walk out, maybe knees open up a little bit wider than hip width. Then we find our way back. Elbows lifted, spine is long. And we breathe. Now slowly we come up to table. So we're walking the hands right underneath the shoulders. A nice balance of energy. We're going to inhale, lift up, open, fingertips to the sky. Exhale, hand down. Doing the other side, inhaling. Exhaling. So again, bringing back the movement of our spine through rotation. And then placing the hand down. Good. Now, a little bit of energy for our abdominals. I love this one. So let's extend the leg back. Take a full breath. And then as you exhale, draw the knee in towards the chest. Inhale, lengthen. Let your eyes wander forward. The heels stretch back. We exhale. So it's important to think about connecting your breath to what you're doing. Remembering that if we hold our breath, we start to feel agitated again. And that's something to think about when you're in a situation. Are you connecting with your breath? One more. And then this time as the knee comes down, just take a moment to move. Again, through joint space. You just kind of flow around. Moving with the idea of the fluids guiding us instead of always thinking about muscle and bone. And then go in the other direction a few times. And then come back to center. So we build the foundation again. Belly is strong. Heart is lifted. Floating the leg back. Hip height. We inhale. Exhale, knee to chest. Inhaling again. Exhaling, pouring that breath out. Good. Inhale. Exhaling. Just a few more times. One more time. Beautiful. As we take the knee in, let's just take a moment to reach the hips back, coming into child's pose. One more time. Child's pose is a restorative pose, but it's also, with the elbows lifted, a wonderful way to bring good health and wellness to our lymph nodes. As we breathe, nice flow of energy through our lymphatic system. And then as we work our way up, we're going to find some balance on all fours. So let's extend our right leg back, hip height. Now walk the fingers of your left hand forward and then gently lift the arm up. Palm can face down or face in. So we want to think about when we're reaching, being present with our center, so lifting the navel to the spine. And as we're moving through balance, we breathe. We steady our gaze, staying in the moment. Balance helps us to feel grounded. Now we're going to cross the back foot over and just end with a lovely twist. And then coming back to center. Take a deep breath in. We'll begin to now move to the other side. So full breath, leg comes back. Arm floats forward, we lift. Steady gaze. And then wandering the foot over, we lift the ribs and open the heart. Setting the hand back down, bringing the knee in. Just shake the legs out behind you. And then bringing your knees to the mat, let's start to lift up. Let's roll the wrists around, the shoulders. Good, so let's take a deep breath in here. And then exhale, release. Nice, so let's take those legs back out in front of us. Nice and long. Taking that full stretch. So it's important to feel the space, really wake the body up. So now we're going to take a deep breath in here. Something to open the hips. As we exhale, we're going to bring the right knee in. I'm going to ask you now to scoop underneath the leg. Hold it, and then just gently rock back and forth, loosening up through the hips. And then we're going to rest the leg right along the extended one. So a couple of variations on this. If your hip is really tight, you can just stay right here and just slightly lean forward, not being pulled by the shoulders. Or come back onto your hands. Invite your front foot to come in, and then really breathe into what's going on in the hip, keeping your foot flexed to protect your knee. So when we practice yoga, mindfulness, it's because we want to become more present with ourselves, with our surroundings. We want to find opportunities of peace and calm within our own lives. And when we find that, it then ripples out into all aspects of our lives. But it's always important to think about self-care each and every day. Time for you. Befriending your body. So let's take that down. And now just scoop up, moving through the hip. We're going to move to the other side. You can stay in that pose a little longer if your hips are tight. I enjoy that one after a long run. So we extend the leg, take the other leg in, cradle, gently rock back and forth. And then releasing the leg down. So again, you might even find that you want to fully extend the hands to the foot. So again, one yoga pose can have a few or even several variations. It's important just to make sure that it feels safe. It feels good to you. It's all about understanding our edge, exploring possibilities, but taking care of ourselves at the same time. And then as the breath continues to move through us, you can stay here or start to come out, moving. So we're going to come back to seated again. Feel free to lie down as we head towards the end of our journey. Just let your arms relax. So if your head is on the ground and you're lying still, you're going to move your head gently side to side. And if you're seated upright, just move your head back and forth as if you were slowly responding no. And then bringing your head center and slowly responding yes. Yes to our breath. And then relax your shoulders as we take the arms up. We're going to gather up our breath. You can reach your arms back overhead if you're lying down. And then as we exhale, we bring our hands in. And then as we close our eyes, we come into a few moments of relaxation. So as we move towards the end of our time together, I thank you for joining me. And now it's up to you to continue the self-care, to nourish the seed of yoga or whatever it is that you bring to your life daily to make you feel connected, to bring together the body, mind, and breath. So as we come into stillness, I thank you for joining me. And until next time, from my heart to yours, namaste.
Funding for Simsbury Community Television is provided in part by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.